Yeah. KevRow University is in full effect. Great couple of live streams I had over the past couple of days. Lots of information, of course. I see people in the chat room, which is awesome because I got a couple questions for the people who are in class. Today is a pretty free open day, open for Q&A, open for questions, answers, conversation. If you have any, let me know. Any questions pertaining to what I've been discussing because it's the best time to civically be alive. And that's just not a saying, that's a lawful decree. Hit the like button and subscribe. That's not just a saying, that is a decree by every student at KevRow University. Civil muteness. Civil muteness is a sin. Why, Tony Brown? Why? Why is civil muteness a sin? Tell us. Hit the like button and subscribe. Let me see who in this chat room early. I don't know how long I'm going to be on the air because, again, this is a free day, pretty open. The end of the Thanksgiving holiday. And I do just want to have a conversation with those who are in my class. Now, if you're not in my class, just say that. I'm not in your class, Kev. And it's perfectly it's perfectly fine. So I can call on somebody else. Because this is very important to KevRow University. A lot of time has passed, and we will go over lectures and bypass, and I'll never get around to Q&A, and I'll never get around to answering no questions. And we'll just keep proceeding on, dealing with folk who just gonna allow the process. You're gonna take in the information, but it's not comprehending. It's not activating the mindset. It's not activating. You feel me, Tony Brown? So that's why I'm calling on you to see where you stand. Shout out to the people in the chat room. I don't know who's in here. It's gotten pretty quiet in my chat room, and that's very upsetting because this is an interaction platform. People have seemingly just disappeared from my chat room, and I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, where is everybody? That's why I said pressing one, that's not going to get it. That's not going to get it. Not at KevRow University. Let me see. Now, if you're too busy, that's fine. That's fine as well. But where's my cell phone at so I can see? Yeah, it's getting kind of weird. People popping in and out of existence and shit. That's kind of weird to me, but must proceed forward. Let me see. Let me see who up in here so I can ask some really good questions. Because again, this is a classroom setting. It is a classroom setting. Hold on. It is a sin because when you stay silent, you remain dead by letting the system continue to define you. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I do want to ask a question. Karen, nice. Thank you for responding. I don't want to be like left on the internet by myself out here just, you know what I'm saying? It's tough, Karen. That's why I'm just like, it's easy entertaining. It's tough teaching and um, um, waiting for the comprehension to respond to you. So that's um, That was good. So let me ask: silence itself is sin because when you stay silent, you remain dead by letting go. By letting the system continue to define. And you're absolutely right. And the system keeps what over you? It remains in what uh, status of power? Parents patriae. Please, no one's Urban Barker. No one's. Please, no one's. Ones ain't gonna get it. Comprehension and speaking does. Ones ain't gonna get it. No, ones ain't gonna get it, champ. So here we go. Jesus said, "In my name, you shall be saved." So I guess you saved. So why are you here? Why are you here, Leo? You're not a participant or nothing. So Jesus said, "In my name, you shall be saved." So why are you here? Okay, you're not even a student here. You're not a sponsor here. Shout out to you though. They maintain jurisdiction over you. Well said. They who who is the they? Define if you can. I'll start today's off with a discussion. If you can define it. I'm on this right here every day. I'm on this right here every day. It's my class. People sponsor the program, Urban Barker. I got students, people like what's his name that just lost his position. Oh boy, whoever that person was, Leo. Yeah, see, just random acts of like I don't do. I'm not trying to do that any longer. Let the past be the past. Let these people just swim around in propaganda, and I'm on a whole different frequency of speaking and comprehension. Let me see. The state, the courts, the government agencies, etc., maintain jurisdiction over you when you remain silent. Okay. Give me something to work with. Okay. So when you remain silent, that's why it's sin. Is that why it's sin? For the living, Karen, the 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 living have the power to speak. If the civil laws over you are strangling you to the point where you must submit to that, you are dead in law. That's terrible. But what if this is this is just a question? What if it's not forced? What if it's a pact to remain silent? What if it to remain silent in law is an agreement, not a trick, but an agreement by the participant, not to be anything more than under the state? What do you say? Say you are given truth and you're presented truth. to which you must speak. Your religious aspects calls for you to speak. The desperation of, let's say, your colony, the women, children, people in your community need to speak. Why choose to remain silent? That's a good question. That's a good question, Karen. And I got that question. I mean, I got that answer right here in my. That's what. That's see, and that goes back to what, Karen? That's all I'm saying. Is it making sense? When you go read my lecture, I can't believe you just said that. I can't, because you just let me know you're paying attention. You may not be a sponsor. Press what? But you're a student. Hit the like button and subscribe. And I don't want people pressing one. I want people to be able to relate to what I'm saying, because what I'm teaching is very important. You're not finding this nowhere else. So with Karen, I'm about to post this on my Discord. What you're talking about is non-Compos Mentis series, Life Without Parole, the inability to speak. Section 1, the presumption of guilt by birth. Right? So, it's in common law, it's in Canaan law, it's in the United States federal law, right? Yeah, that's okay. This is important. That's okay. Everybody can't be a sponsor. I just have to make sure those who can, support the broadcast. It's hard. It's hard work. So the presumption of guilt by birth. The doctrine of presumption of guilt by birth is one of the heaviest chains placed on black people in America, for it assumes that before a word is spoken or an act is committed, the heir, the child, is already condemned. Correct? I know you paying attention. This is not merely a social prejudice, but a legal doctrine hidden in the very structure of civil law. So when we speak, we want to make sure we come in at least with that form of foundation. Somebody start asking you questions, you want to dive deep. You want to answer deep. You don't want to press one. Presses one is for the incompetent who can't speak. Yeah. Wow. In Roman law, the concept of natus servus, that means slave by birth, ensured that children born of slaves did what? Inherited the same status automatically. This principle was carried into United States federal government law. Press one. No, that's fire. That's fire. So because I got questions, don't mean you right or you wrong or nothing. I'm just trying to gauge where my students are. When people start going silent, I get worried because I run a YouTube page and it's not easy. And people like to come and go and play like they're here and they not. And here, I'm not doing that no more. I'm talking to the people specifically. I'm talking to you, Karen. I'm talking to the people that want to talk to me. Taj, thank you. I'm no longer like at the wheel of everybody else. No. Okay, I'm here to converse. This is where I'm at. So yes, in a lot of cases, in most cases, people are born into it, Karen. But to the contrary, there is an Aryan pact of those who are willing participant of the same melanin skin tone of many of us, and they have pledged, given up, surrendered. All these is in the form of silence in law. So whether you're pledging or you born into it, when you come into the truth, boom. You see the person that came in here early, allegorical. Jesus said these people think they're just cool. Go back into the world. I'm not talking to them. It's a lot of that in the world. Cool. I'm talking from a legal stance. I'm not daydreaming. I'm not in conspiracy. I'm not in doubt and all this other stuff that harbors. Some of y'all is just y'all personal curses on what y'all been doing on the earth anyway, on why you can't understand nothing. So it's hard for me to gauge when you don't ask questions. Listen, silence. This is why I tell people to take notes. I'm not just saying take notes. I'm hoping you take notes so you can respond like Karen just responded. That's facts. That's what makes this class great. In law, silence is consent. Say it with me. Silence is consent. It is your duty to speak against slavery. The word slavery isn't just the word slavery and it deals with black people on the ship. Civil mutinous creates the atmosphere for slavery. Hit the like button and subscribe. This is ancient. This is ancient. Okay? In law, silence has never been treated as absence, failure to appear. You still get a warrant. It is treated as what? An agreement. We talked about this in the Roman Maximum. I wrote a small little lecture on it. I mean, the mute man legally consents to the presumption against him. The mute man legally consents to the presumption against him. You hear me, Karen? So, going back to my lecture that, you probably didn't know, that was a part of the lecture, or you did, but the presumption of guilt by birth is compos. That's number one. And here we are saying a mute man legally consents to the presumption against him. You're presumed dead. And in what, canon law, let's say said, you presumed lost at sea. See? You're presumed. Is a presumption fact? No. But what if you're not there to challenge it? Boom. I woke up like this, 2:33 in the morning, y'all. Ready. I got to make sure you're ready. Presumption is not fact, but civil mutinous keeps you unable to speak, which is an agreement. Let me ask the class a question, and you can think about it. We not in no rush. The people support this broadcast. I'm not in no rush to get out of here in an hour. And in 2 hours, I'm not in a rush to play no music. I'm not in a rush to have more fun. I got a question for you, though. If silence equals consent, okay, what happens to a community that remains silent in the face of injustice? I'll wait. Should I repeat the question? All right. You see, I like where I'm going with this. Okay. If silence equals consent, Ali, where the fellas at? Pop Deuce, Tony, uh, talking about no, that was Urban Barker. Yeah, where you at, Urban Barker? I feel you, family. You can see what you want, boss. No, professor, sir. Professor, thank you. If silence equals consent, Urban Marker, what happens to a community that remains silent in the face of injustice? Woo! Woo! Don't be afraid to answer. There's no wrong answer. It's just depending on, I'm trying to gauge where we are. You feel me? Let's go. They remain under a custodian. Okay. They are submerged in Canaan. Canaan law. Come on now. Come on. They are in agreement with the injustice. Okay. Makes sense. Pop Deuce. Makes sense. They are submerged. But how, George? How are they submerged? They remain under a custodian. Very good. They lose their standing. How? But still very good. They remain in sin forever. Life without parole. Less allegorical concept. Still right. Less allegorical concept. Less adjective. More lawful. You see how Amanda say they would right up under the custodian, remains under the custodian? That's something you can boom, 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 boom. So yeah, you're right in that sense. But I wanna keep it as legally bound as possible. Everybody not gonna understand that. And if they do, they're not gonna understand the legal format. So boom. We want them on that. Then when we get to scripture, there people can understand the difference between the lawful experience, the act of, and the spiritual sense and what we live by. You know, in that sense. I hope people can kind of grasp that. So yeah, you remain under a custodian. They are in agreement with that injustice. So if the system is saying, Ali, Pop Deuce, George, Sindane, Ali, let's see, Karen, let's see who in here, Taj, Urban Barker, Tony Brown, Shiva, Karen Williams, Said, Bocat, Lewis. All right. If the system is saying you black, no. I'm sorry. The system just beat you up. The white folk in the system just beat you up. It's the system is saying, are you this, and are black, and you mark black? Is that an injustice or is that a choice? That's just my personal question. Is that Karen might know? Karen, is that a choice as an adult, or is that what is that? Brian Scott says that's a choice. Karen say that's both. It's a oxymoron. It's an oxymoron. It's both. Okay, I can read. Is it a form of entrapment? Let's see. Let's look up the word entrapment real quick. I want to see this. What's the meaning of the word entrapment? Because I'm looking for legal remedy. Again, Tosh, this is always based on legal remedy. Because an injustice here is an injustice everywhere. What's the definition? Anybody got the definition? No definition. All right. Okay. So so the best place to find these travesties, if you want redemption of these travesties and you want to, let's say, um, address these matters lawfully, what would you need instantly as reference? Anybody can answer that. What would you need as reference? (1828) entrapment, a setup designed to lure someone into a trap they don't see coming. Well, is it entrapment? Or what I'm asking is, are, let's say if this was legal remedy, you have to charge something. Is entrapment on the table? And by law, is entrapment legal? Or what if it's the law that's entrapping you? Do the law have to tell you? Is it illegal for you to walk into your own drug deal? I mean, literally, we see entrapment all the time. It's called setups. Where will we have to go if we were to address these matters lawfully? I ain't saying Supreme Court or nothing easy like that. What is the foundation? The foundation. Where are you going to study what you're trying to prove is the injustice? You are trying to prove the injustice, Pop Deuce, that we was just talking about. You have to, superhero. You have to prove the injustice. God's law. No, well, God's law, vague. We in a different setting. What is that? No, you're not going to the Bible. You're not going to the Bible. You're going to find it in law. Where is it? Where do you go? Address these matters. What do you bring up to challenge these things? I'm waiting on y'all. Where do you go to challenge this? If you was to go to the law library, thank you, Karen Williams. Thank you. Y'all see that answer right there? Y'all see that right there? O2. O2, I see you, but look, case law. You listen, we gotta make it a habit, all right? We got the Bible, we study history. You have to function in the realm of case law. If you want to get anything changed, this is all that you have to do. Press 1. You have to, that's all they do. But you do silly crimes, that's already case law after case law after case law. You know, robbery, murder, you know, things that's automatic. You know, that's easy. Doing bad things, right? So case law, you never thought of yourself as a lawful person. What if I told you the government? So you have to address these matters in that manner. And because you can't, the federal government exists. You can't manage your own affairs. And rightfully so. They've been in power this whole time because we see ourselves as citizens and small people rather than upholders and keepers of the law. We hand that over to, that's all in play. You give that responsibility over to your federal government, who then subcontracts that out to who? Sheriffs, and then they contract your local, and that goes down the food line. Which is what I'm saying is you don't have that. People say, we police ourselves. The white man is killing us. You don't have a process of understanding law, justice or injustice. You don't even speak it, right? So you have to go to case law. And all of the lectures I brought up and I've done before we actually even really hammered home is case law. It's very important that case law is what you need to study. Make sure you write that down. This ain't no come to school, come to this university. We adults. We adults. So come to school, bring your own notebook, your own number 2 pencil. That's your shit. If you're not taking notes, trust me, you're not fooling nobody but yourself. That's it, because I'm going to continue to get this work done. And anybody else, you know, is welcome to come on up to the forefront and talk about that. But it's very important. Case law. You have to find the wins, the crime, the charge in case law. Without that, you're wishing on a star. Right? So when you're researching your case law, Mr. Gillespie, your case, think of case law like, it's a tool we should develop an app. That's what I'm talking about. We should develop a damn app, man. Shit, I don't even want to say, but case law is where you want to find how to win. And that's the war, where battles are won and fought. I told you not to, but shit, press one. Soon you won't have to press 1. Damn, it's hard for me to get one out my brain. All right, case law is where it is. Without case law, you're not doing nothing, Taj, right? You're going to be in there like B from Texas when I asked them, when I told him, your people are the ones who signed you up for this. He, oh, we'll be right back, right? Be looking like Martin Lawrence, grabbing all your paperwork. So that starters, we'll be back next week. Ain't no next week. You get one shot. We got one life, right? Think of all the greats, right, who lost their life. be real, and giving us truth on the levels that they were on. No matter what level that they was on, a lot of people have died and went into hiding and shit behind information. So don't take information for granted. In the same sense, Candace Owens in the world is upholding Kirk and the false flag stuff and all this other stuff. You need to home in now on this. It's the perfect time. Because the world is conspiracy brained out. It's over. They don't have any legal ground. They are insane. Insane. And I just sit back, watch. I was playing my video game yesterday saying, wow, without a sound mind, I would have still been conspiracy. Oh, what about this? And what about this? And that's exactly where they want you. That's the spell. Those are the spells of the Eastern Stars and the lunatics and all of that for their daydream to come real. It's for us to live in that realm so they can feed off your sorrow, so they can feed off your attention, so they can feed off of you. Press 1. Hit the like button and subscribe. And that's all that stuff is about. Then we go off into something else. And then the next feeding frenzy, they're like vampire. Press 1. They're like vampires. They are the damn vampire. They just seek attention, want your sorrow and pity. All of them has pledged with the spirit of death. Now that I'm older and I realize how far our people have strayed straight to death. And being legally quiet, ain't told their children nothing about being black. Ain't told us no history, no knowledge of self, nothing lawful. Nothing lawful. Our whole lives has been based on pop the balloon relationships of grandmas and mamas and aunties and shit. Niggas, stand up. You know I'm telling the truth. We just sitting back watching them have a blast and then made up shit. Every fucking chicken wing 4th of July, just a bunch of them running around in the imagination of makeup, braids, and with no culture. Lost whole sense of culture is now gone to the land of the lost. No law. The men was taught how to be gangbangers and losers and busters, and the women was taught how to twerk and, you know, do bad things at house parties. Press 1. They fucked us up. They fucked us up. Besides that, we don't even know shit. I just found out I had excellent credit. I just found out I can go, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. Right now, I just found out. Press 1. I just found out. No, I knew I can do it, but the restrictions in my brain was like, man, but you still got... No, I literally just found out. You can do whatever you want to do. So coming out of these little false senses of dream worlds is very important. It's not easy. It's going to take a lot of discipline. And discipline outweighs luck. Luck, right place, right time type shit. No, bro. They lie, bro. It's discipline. Staying focused, staying true, staying down. You feel me? Focused on your priorities. I did a show when I first started doing YouTube. What was it called? The man on the grind is the prize. I had to say that within myself. Hold up, King, you the prize, sir. Stay focused. Hit that like button and subscribe. So I want to extend that to my class. Stay focused. Case law. If it's not in case law, and it's hard to put it in there, bro. You got to be very intelligent to make a new case. After all the cases that the devil had to play with in the past. You get me? All right. So you got to go into case law and find this in case law. Find it in scripture. Where you're going to find it in law is case law. Okay? So you want to look at judgments and default judgment like this one. William Blackstone's. Press 1. It's 1775. Describes, hold up, Commentaries on the Laws of England. 1765. Describes default judgment as in the nature of a confession. In America, Rule 55 of Civil Procedure codifies this principle. Failure to plead equals default judgment. Let's say that again. You can ask anybody who you know that's in this realm. Failure to plead or failure to appear equals default judgment. When the hey fellas, when the judge be lying at them niggas who was lined up for court this morning, and they said, "What do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or what?" No contest. That's the truth. Yeah, no contest. It's all go away real fast. Press 1. No contest. Default judgment. It's still default. Okay? Silence is equivalent to confession in the record. You know, when you go to the priest and see confession, that's what silence is in law. On the record. In the record. Okay? Civil death in Ruffin versus the Commonwealth. Again, this is what? Karen, say it with me. Case law. All right? This is what solidifies truth from fiction. You can talk all that shit about what you won't do, what you want to do, and you want to break free, and you want to do this, and you indigenous. Where's the case law? Right, Karen? Press 1. If it's not on the books, it's not real. This is where you put aside all of what we call in this world bullshit. Little anonymity for motherfuckers to make a few extra $1,000s a year on a fucking tax returns and shit. Greed is a motherfucker. Greed will have you blind to the law. If you live within your means, I get this shit now. But that's neither here or there. But you got to find it here. So Virginia Supreme Court in Ruffin versus the Commonwealth, 62 VA 790, 1871, declares prisoners are civilly dead. Press 1. Didn't I tell you was prisoner of war? Ain't you black and dead in law? I know you. I know you better than you know yourself. Press 1. That's why I get to talk this shit. Because I know you. You have unknowingly or knowingly adapted the status of someone serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. How do we know that, Ali and Bocat? Because Ruffin versus the Commonwealth. That solidifies it. You see? There's no, because of this one, that one, now. You don't even got to go into history. This is against the law when you're dealing with free people. Unless they unknowingly do what? Let me ask you a question. If you do not speak, who speaks for you? And if the court speaks for you, are you alive in law? Don't rush to that question. We actually got a school now, y'all. I've been staying up all night how to teach properly, how to how to acclimate my student, how to get better, you know? If you do not speak, fellas, who speaks for you? This is a two-part question. And if the court speaks for you, are you in live in law? My guy said, no, the bar association speaks for you. So you are mute and dead in the law. Lawyers speak for us, the bar association. Exactly. That's the courts, right? And if the courts speak for you, are you alive in law? No. You're either incompetent or dead. In your case, both. Press one. Okay. Okay, so you have to find this. You feel me? And that's where I've been finding. I said, "Oh, we have to do this correctly. We find this in case law. So I can do the lectures. What does that mean if I can't find it in case law? Beautiful words, and you can be right or wrong. What does that mean if you can't find it in case law? So, time to dive deep. It's 111 people up in here. Shout out to you guys that's listening to the broadcast. This is KevRow University, the study of many things. The study of many things. Hit that like button, subscribe, and if you like, contribute by way of Cash App. Link is in the chat room. Okay. And waiver of rights in the United States versus Bros. United States versus Bros 488 US 563 1989. The court ruled that failure to contest charges waives defenses. That works out for a public defender, huh? Failure to contest. What I was just talking about, no contest? Well, 1989, failure to contest charges waives defenses. Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 11 allows the court to enter a plea for a silent defendant, proving silence equals incompetence and waiver. Wow. Parents Patriae and Prince versus Massachusetts. The doctrine of Parents Patriae, meaning parent of the nation. Parent Patriae, parent of the nation. So if you're in California and the governor of California have parents Patriae, or over what? The nation of who? We're going to continue on. Okay? Was affirmed in Prince. This here, Parents Patriae, was affirmed in Prince versus Massachusetts. 3-1, United States, U.S. 158 1944. When a man refuses to speak, now watch this, fellas. When man refuses to speak, the state steps in as guardian, reclassifying him as what? A legal child. Silence makes him a ward of the state. That's Prince versus Massachusetts. See, what I'm doing is breaking down your captivity, King. I found it, Jeb. Right here. It's in case law. This is how you remain a minority, which is the word minor, adolescent, a child. Do you see that? So a black man is an incompetent child, and there's only two places he gonna end up. Either dead, which he already is, or in a prison camp. We know this. We raised them this way. We bred them this way. We made these people guilty upon birth, upon entry into this world guilty. And you got to prove that and find the remedy where, Taj, in case law, and bring it to class. Therefore, when we speak, it's upright. We're not talking fiction here. Everything outside the garden is sin. Everything at this point forward out of case law is the world's. There's no reason to even talk about Anunnaki. Why? It's not in case law. It can't help you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry to be so serious with that little kid shit. It's like, damn, man, I can't. No, you can do whatever you like. I'm saying there is no redemption. See, in the beginning, I'm going to tell you how this works. I'm to my Bible scholars here. Now, this is going to be good for y'all. See, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God. In fact, you know what? The Word was God. I'm proving to you that Word is the law. And everything you gonna need in this world down here of sin is the law. Spiritually speaking, only thing you gonna need is God and His Word. You feel me? Now, if we're talking spiritual, we go to church, deliver me the message. When it's time to get up and go to work, I am going to apply that in my knowledge and wisdom. Not like my aunties and them do by just clapping my hands at church and then going home pretending and cooking spinach and all type of things. No. It's going to work. It's going to be at the forefront of my mind. What I think about. The word law. The word and law. They are one. Let's go. So, Professor Kev, based on our case law discussion, can we say entrapment is the foundation to American justice? If that's all that there is entrapment, I don't know if it's a part of probably the alchemic foundation of it. I will give it that. Okay, when a man refuses to speak, the state steps in as guardian, reclassifying him as a legal child. So when I say reclassification over entertainment, it's to you, it's turning bad boys into grown men. Chaos, then order. Mentally, sound mind, chaos, it's two different things. Okay, you in chaos, you want to slow that down, apply legal remedy for the issue at hand. So all your little stuff that you like outside of what you need help with, the remedy for the situation, you got to put on standby so this can take effect. Your attention has to go from there. I'm not saying stop watching Bart Simpson. I'm not saying things like that. I'm saying you need to start, like I do, redirecting your attention back into the law. What law, Kev? Case law. Why? So we can understand our condition. What's better than growing up in a prisoner of war camp? Press one and then realizing the rules and laws in which are really there was really there for them. And you're an orchestrator of the law. You're a speaker of the law. Oh, get out of town. Hit the like button and subscribe. Get out of town. Right in their little federal little prisoner of war camp lies people who, no, they're not using space weapons against us. Yeah, space weapons. The law. Obviously, you don't know it. That's how far you want to raise the quote unquote bar. Okay? So, Compos Mentis versus Ward of the States. Where would you, as students of KevRow, we got 118 students in here. Where would you prefer to stand? Compos Mentis in law or a ward of the state, non-Compos Mentis? Isaiah, before you answer, Isaiah 53:7 describes the Messiah, silence before the slaughter. The Messiah slaughter, a silence before the slaughter. Proverbs 31 commands, open thy mouth for the dumb. Silence in Babylonian courts is not righteousness. It is surrender to destruction. Biblical silence differs from legal silence. Yet, the conclusion is the same. Same outcome. That's how I know they're intertwined. Even though a lot of people don't believe me when I say it, that the legal and spiritual aspect of this world is very highly connected. So Karen say Compos Mentis. You want to be able to understand, like Chris Tucker say, all of these words and research and come back and say, wow, not only am I studying words, now I'm studying case law. Why? Because I'm in captivity. You know what people on parole in prison do? Y'all, nope. But I'm going to tell you what they do. The people that's never, they're in the library studying case laws that may or may not help them when it's time to speak. Damn, huh? So you on the outside have that same responsibility. Case law. It is either going to enslave you or free you. Press 1. A case law is going to enslave you or free you. And Amistad give us free is still silence. They tried to trick us and say we asked for our freedom already. They tried to sell it to us as if we were already free. No, you're not free. That's the Aryan deception. You were never free. In fact, when you was free, we told you to come be free, and that freedom led to your captivity, and you don't even know it. We put Molly all up in your drink, and you ain't even know it. Right, one, they took us home and enjoyed that, and we ain't even know it. White man, oh my goodness, we ain't even know it. Damn, they did us that way. Yes, this is real, and you have to see your way out, not pretending. You literally have to find case law study to get you out of these discrepancies in law that are chains on our necks. So how do we do that? Start paying attention. What laws are we under that is illegal? Black incompetence laws and things that would delink us from our inheritance, correct? That's what we're going at KevRow University. And that's why it's important that more than, let me see, Deborah, shout out to Deb. She contributes to my show every day. Love that. C. Lewis, Jason Harris, and Cedric Jefferson better not be the only ones checking in class today. Hit that like button and subscribe. There's 118 people up in here. Man, support this broadcast, and you came to school. All right, what up, Ollie? Let me see what's up here. Yeah, we got a great class today, buddy. And let me see. Okay. That's why I said, I just got to find the case law. Now I've done the research, right? Done the research, got the book. Now fortify it in case law. That's remedy. That'll give the students access to say, wait, not only are we thinking and saying it's against the law with our lips, it really is. Look, right? That's foundation in law. That's freeing, in my opinion. Now, I ain't graduate school, so I can't tell you, there's some Yale University type shiznit. What I can say is I ain't graduate no school, and God has blessed me to think on this level to make me feel like I am something. And I do got something to offer. Because we have passed this life not thinking we ain't got shit to offer this world. We thugs, right? Wrong. That's why I say most of our lives is living testimony. We just don't know it. We don't understand how it is because we don't even understand what testimony is. We don't even know. So fighting anybody that's impeding on your right or your right to exist and live in life, liberty, in the pursuit of should be charged as such. Nobody else has this issue in this nation but you and I. Okay? So legal remedy is important. Maybe not to those entertained and fucking celebrities and all that. But for me, it's the most important. So it's important. This case law is foundation. Okay? In the United States, remember, Jeremiah, hold up. Let's go. Presumption, guilty by birth. This was a lecture I've done, right? Where do we find this? Let's say if you don't got case law, go to biblical law. Jeremiah 4:22 describes a people as foolish children without understanding. In civil law, the mute man confirms this presumption by presumption of incompetence, proving himself non-compos mentis, minor, speaking rebuts the presumption. So when you learn to speak, you are, little do you know, you're rebutting the presumption. When people come here, they like, oh, a bunch of niggas, another black dude. Till they sit here. Press one. Right? Speaking. That's powerful. That's powerful. Rebuts the presumption. A person can presume all that they want to. It's up to you. Okay? So how does the U.S. system, this is a question to the students, how does the system benefit when black people in America remain silent? And what inheritance is lost? Do you even know what inheritance you're fighting for? Yeah, they didn't know Kev was on this level of teaching. Yep. Yep. We on another level, champ. Repeat the question. Oh, okay, my bad. Um, how does this system benefit when the men of this nation remain silent? What do they gain? What is it that the system itself gains? That question is to every student. This is like a homework question. Oh my goodness, this is right. This is like a homework question because the variables are on so many different levels, and that's what we'll do. I've been on the air for how long? How long we been in class? 1 hour and 10 minutes. We didn't play no music. That take away 30 minutes. Yeah, we good. We Gucci. That's a homework question. That's a homework question. And then what? And then what? That's a homework. You know what? I'm going to open up the phone lines. And if anybody, this is the homework. 424-209-9506. Don't get quiet now. Don't get quiet now. Wow, that's a good question. Remember this. That's homework. How does the system benefit when the black man remains silent? Okay. What inheritance is lost? Okay. So that's a two-part question. Very serious. Very serious. And I can't wait to hear answers. I can't wait to hear the answers to that. And it can't be one small half a sentence. It must be a conversation that you're going to have. Okay? So let's continue on. In the United States versus Ginsburg, 243 F2D 370, 1957. Silence where a duty to speak exists was deemed acquiescence. Press 1. The courts ruled in 67 that failure to assert rights result in the forfeiture of those rights. Silence is legally treated as a surrender of right. Huh? You must remember your silence is testimony. The only question is, what are you testifying to? Revelations 12 and 11 proclaims victory by the word of their testimony. Matthew 12 and 37 teaches that by words men are justified and are condemned. Silence equals the absence of testimony and leads to the condemnation in both law and spirit. Revelations 12 and 11 proclaims victory by what? The word of testimony. Okay? The mute man is defined as civilly dead. You hear me? The mute man. So they use a straw man in your replacement. You get that? Because you are mute and dead. So a straw man, a fiction character must be created on your behalf. Silence leads to death. Silence is fatal. Testimony is life. I'm Kev Gills, Professor Gillespie here at KevRow University. Please support this broadcast. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to the students at patreon.com/Kev Gills TV. And if you're not a sponsor or a student, you can still hit me on my Cash App. My cash tag is Gills Gang. Everybody, all non-students need to be at least $1 a day right here. Shout out to Mrs. Payton, Press 1, and case law is where it is. We're going to bring more case law dealing with civil mutinies, and I'm getting a better understanding of not just myself and the study, but also the students. So we got a lot of questions. You got the homework, study. I'm going to drop the link tomorrow. I hope to see y'all. And as a matter of fact, this is now going up on the Discord. So if you're not a sponsor on Discord, I have to remove you. And those of you who are sponsors and who want to be on the Discord, who are on my Patreon, I'm bringing you over. You will have that. And I'm ready to go. God bless y'all. And, of course, as always, I'll holler.